Last Sunday, 10th of October, was Safeguarding Sunday. That's the Sunday set aside for churches to show their communities that they take safeguarding responsibility seriously. This week, 9th to the 16th of October, has also been National Hate Crime Awareness Week. As a Christian minister, I think there's a level of absurdity that we need to be reminded that hating people is wrong, and that we also need to be reminded that we should do everything in our power to protect the vulnerable. Yet it is plainly the case that we do need to be reminded again and again that these are our responsibilities. I think everyone, young and old, should be able to expect to have a sense of being safe. Safeguarding should enable a profound sense of freedom within our communities. Everyone should be free from abuse or oppression, whether physical, mental, or spiritual. Everyone should know that they are cared for and respected. That safeguarding is everyone's responsibility. The people and the church as a whole, as an organisation, together need to design out the opportunities for abuse or neglect. And I don't think that safeguarding is something that can be applied afterwards, if you like, to church culture. It isn't something that is a tack on, it's not an additive, it's something that has to be in there from the start. It has to be intrinsic, it needs to be baked in to the church. And I'm sorry to say that many people within the church, this is lay and ordained, fall for the improper appeal to authority fallacy. They claim that they know they are good and good people don't do evil things, and therefore safeguarding shouldn't apply to them because by nature they can be trusted. In my day job, we have a mantra. All organisations are perfectly designed to get the results that they're now getting. If we want different results, we must change the way in which we do things. If sexual abuse exists in the church, if bullying exists within the church, if racism or hate crime exists within the church, it is because we have created an organisation designed to produce sexual abuse, bullying, and hate crime. Safeguarding needs to be embedded into everything that the church does. It must start with the parish priest or minister, and then all PCC members and trustees need to pledge absolute commitment and support towards safeguarding. Every single way in which we do things needs to be assessed. But I don't think that just having a list of policies covering everything from anti-bullying to equality and diversity training will necessarily help. I know that policies can be used to shut down debate and criticism of clergy and office holders. And frankly, in my opinion, the church representation rules are not fit for purpose. Although church warden terms are limited, other PCC membership have no term limits, so PCCs can become self-perpetuating and drift to serve the interests of cliques that leads the church to develop an unhealthy club culture. And if the safeguarding officers of a church are perpetual members of the PCC, the drift towards an unhealthy complacency is inevitable. I believe safeguarding culture depends on PCC members understanding their responsibility as trustees and being trained to understand that these responsibilities come before any friendship or loyalty to other members of the PCC. PCCs must have a culture that welcomes change and growth. APCMs, the annual general meetings, should adopt local rules that limit any PCC membership to 2 consecutive terms, 6 years, to break up the cliques and disrupt groupthink. Safeguarding officers should not remain in post for more than 3 years, again to stop complacency. The chairing of the PCC and standing committee should rotate between the church wardens and the incumbent to ensure that no one controls the agenda. This is about being free. In a church where safeguarding is taken seriously, then all people will understand. They will be listened to, supported, and known action will be taken on their behalf. To have safeguarding taken seriously, we need good leadership. We can take a couple of approaches to leadership in safeguarding matters. We can admire the ability of a leader to cope when abuse happens. Or we could have a church led in such a way that the opportunity to abuse is simply designed out of the system. Now, I prefer the idea of the latter. I'd rather that the abuse doesn't happen rather than having to cope with the consequences of abuse. But changing the way in which churches do things is not popular. But I don't think the object of leadership is ever to be liked. Leadership within the church around safeguarding must be about building the capacity of the PCC to set expectations for safeguarding within the context of the work the church is doing, the mission action plan, the community outreach work, and other church programs like Sunday school and youth clubs. Leaders need to take fast and decisive action when needed. They need to have the character to oppose complacency and inspire others to integrate safeguarding into everything they do within the church. And leadership sets the tone for the church, and the PCC in turn sets and forms the culture of the congregation and fellowship that develops within the church. I think no one is above suspicion, and men and women are equally capable of abuse, whether sexual, emotional, through money, or whatever. Too many people maintain the false narrative, I am a good person and my friends are good people. Good people don't do nasty things. If someone says a good person did a bad thing, but I believe my friend is good, then that must be a lie, and lies are told by bad people. It is much easier for PCCs to blame the victim or to pretend that this doesn't happen. But the good news is that the Church of England and our own Diocese of Southwark takes the safeguarding and care of children and vulnerable adults very seriously. There's excellent training available and lots of material and resources that demonstrate good practice. My prayer is that the need for special days and weeks such as Safeguarding Sunday and National Hate Crime Awareness all just evaporates, as we rethink the way we design our fellowships to transform unjust structures, to challenge violence of every kind, and to pursue peace and reconciliation. The challenge for all of us, for every church and project, is to design our programs right from the start in such a way as to protect all participants from neglect, physical, sexual, and emotional abuse. Thanks for listening.